Good afternoon, and welcome back to week 6 of the training block for the Boston Marathon. I'm Jeff Benezzi, and I'll be taking you through the last week of training that I had. This was another bigger week. My goal was to hit close to 70 miles for the week, and I ended up getting just about 67 for the week. So I was pleased with how the week went in terms of recovery since last weekend. I had that big long run with a big portion of it at marathon pace, so I recovered well. Probably by Wednesday, Thursday, I felt like things were going in the right direction. But let's take you through the week. So Monday, I did a double. In total, I was trying to get 80 minutes for the day. I did 43 in the mornings, 37 at the evening. And then Tuesday, we had a get-together in the evening with some coworkers. So I got most of the run done in the morning, 64 minutes for that. Wednesday, I had a workout scheduled. The workout was 8 by 800 meter cut downs with a minute jogging rest. So with this workout, I started off at about marathon effort and then let my body, as I warmed up, progress the pace down probably to 10K. Maybe the last one was a bit 5K effort, but that went well. I started 3:06 and then worked all the way down to 2:39 pace for those 800. So I didn't get a double that day. That's where I missed a few of my miles for the week, but I was pretty tired in the evening, so sleeping was more the priority there. And then come to Thursday, I got another double in, 55 minutes in the morning and 25 in the evening. Friday was my son's second birthday, so that was awesome. So his name's Miles, and we've gone through a big journey with him, but it was awesome to get to that 2-year milestone, and it was such a fun evening. So I did 45 minutes in the morning, and that was my pre-long run. So Sunday, the goal was to hit a steady long run of 20 miles. I did 3 loops out in Rocky River. The first loop was 10 miles, and then the next loop was almost 8, and then the final loop, 2-mile short loop around the neighborhood. So for this run, I made sure to fuel both beforehand. In the morning, I like to have a bagel, a banana. That's a few hours before. And then a couple hours out, I'll do a packet of Element to get the salts in my body. And then my pre-long run fuel is either Genucan or the Tailwind. So I'll take that for about 60 to 90 minutes prior to the run. And this will give me some carbohydrates, prep the legs and things like that. And then during the workout, I used 1 packet of Martin. It was the 320 calorie packet. 80 grams of carbs is in that. So I spread it out throughout the whole 2.5 hour run. Basically every 15 to 20 minutes, I was taking 2 to 3 sips of that solution. And I had a little handheld water bottle. So after the first loop of 10 miles, I filled it back up with the rest, and then I sipped that through the next hour and 5 minutes. So the last 10 to 15 minutes, I was pretty much just going on what I had put in my body. So run went well. I had lots of elevation gain. It was a lot of rolling hills, get my body prepped for Boston. And then Sunday, today, I just did a short shakeout of 3 miles, walk, jog. I went over to the rec center, got a little bit on the treadmill, and then came back. And the legs feel way better today compared to last Sunday when I was coming off of that big workout. So I'm excited for how I bounce back from yesterday's 20 miler. As far as the lessons of how and what I learned this week, going through the fueling piece is huge. I've been focusing more on getting my major foods, major macros, as you will. And I'm using an app that my wife recommended. She said it's called Cal AI, and it's been great because I've been able to use this. It's a scanning option. You can just scan the food or scan the label, and then you can save some of your old meals or foods that you've used in the past. And it's awesome because I'm keeping track of how much I'm burning through the day. I walk probably 2 miles a day, plus working in between, working with patients. Just you're using a lot of mental energy too. So I've noticed as I'm getting the calories in and making sure I'm fueling my body, I'm actually bouncing back quicker. I have more energy during the day, and I'm also sleeping better. So that's a key piece. When you're upping the mileage, you got to up the fuel. And as my mentor, Chris Johnson, likes to say, you got to pay the energy bill. So making sure to pay that energy bill as you're ramping up training is so important. Not rushing meals, planning ahead, things like that for your fuel sources. And then fueling some of these bigger workouts. My Wednesday workout, I use the Tailwind beforehand, and then before the Sunday or Saturday long runs, I'll also make sure I'm mimicking what I'm going to do in the race day. And that fuel also allows you to bounce back quicker. Practices getting it through your gut and through your stomach so you can be prepped and ready for the race down the road. And then you can tweak things too if you feel like it was too much carb per hour or too little carb per hour. So I think mine averaged around 52 carbs, the liquid carbs that I took prior to the run plus during. And I'll up that a little bit more during the marathon. I like to take a gel right at the start, about 15 minutes before, and then I'll spread out 5 gels throughout the race. And then I'm also going to have a handheld of the Morton. Once I go through that after the first half, I think what I'll do is take an element with me so I can get some salt through the middle of the race and then continue with the carbs. So I think that's going to be the plan. But I'll be able to test that on a few bigger long runs coming up here. So big key is paying that energy bill this week. You've got to make sure you get the fuel in that window after you get done working out. 30 to 60 minutes, ideally closer to 30 to 45. 3-to-1, 4-to-1 carbohydrate to protein ratio. Doing that is going to help your muscles kickstart that recovery process. And then not trying to rush through meals, not skipping lunches, not even skipping any of these little things add up. And if you're not doing it most of the week, you're going to start digging a hole for yourself. So make sure you're keeping your fuel in check. And if you have questions or comments, if you have ideas, please leave them in the comments section. I'd be glad to chat with you about that stuff. So another good week of training. This is now 8 weeks to go till the Boston Marathon. And I have this coming week a recovery week. So I'll talk more about that next week and how I frame my deload or recovery sessions before I pick it back up the second half of the training block. So I hope you enjoyed this, and happy running.